Hello everyone, this is Ronnie, trying to get some good light here. I don't know, maybe this is a bit better over here. Okay. It's I try and keep it a little bit darker in the evening now. I think it helps my sleep a little bit. Anyway, I want to talk to you about butter being a health food, and this is the reason why I want to make this video because someone posted recently, someone that still follows me, I guess, and they posted the thing about butter being a health food. And this is someone who went to the UK Fruit Festival a number of years ago, and I was looking at this thinking, where's the joke here? Where's the thing? And then I realized, wait, they actually believe this. They actually believe that butter is a health food, and it this has bothered me many times over the years, where someone comes to the UK Fruit Fest and leaves, and then a while later they're like eating animal products again, and you're like, how? How can they have taken this step to have gone to this event, to have been around all these people, to have listened to that information, and that, and then they've went back and eaten and went back at some point to eating butter as a health and thinking it's a health food? How does that happen? And it proves a lot of points for me. One of them is over the years at the festival, the first time you put on an event for raw vegans, you kind of assume that the people are coming along are part of the raw vegan community. And what you learn over the years is often they're not. Like often the people that are coming along are very new to it. You sort of think your audience is a raw vegan group. Very quickly you realise that's not what it is for some reason or other. I don't know. That's just the way life is. So you put on a raw vegan festival, you think this is raw vegans will go, oh, that's for me. I want to go to something. There's other raw vegans. Cool. That's not what happens. It's just not. It's just not what happens. So, what happens is a lot of new people come along a lot of people who are exploring diet and have been exploring different things around diet and stuff. I never quite know for sure why some people come along, but anyway, so some people are very new to it. So I started to realize this, and I started to say to the people that were teaching at the festival, we need to have very beginners basic information. And a lot of them resisted it, and a lot of them resist it to this day and want to talk about, the philosophies of the law of attractions, of the universe, of starting the online business, of the social interactions, of the emotional detoxification, and all this mad stuff. And I'm like, people are leaving this and still think butter is a health food. How about we get them to the point of butter's not a health food? How about we get to the point of it's worthwhile changing your diet? How about we get them to that philosophical idea? How about we get them to the point where they think that maybe it's worthwhile, that there's actually a connection between their diet and health? How we get them to that point, the first step on the ladder, and that it's important enough to think about this and make some changes and some sacrifices, and it might be worthwhile to do that. That's the first step. The first step is not, how do you get enough omega 3? That is not the first step. And we're failing people in this whole movement or community by thinking that everyone kind of gets all the basic stuff. Oh, they know all that stuff. No, they don't. Most people don't. The vast majority of people don't. A lot of the people who are influencers, even in the raw vegan movement or the vegan movement, they don't get this stuff. They don't really know it. And that's why some of them pop off and go and do other things. Start eating meat again. Mad things. So, for some reason, the people that are more likely to try a fruitarian diet are also more likely to try a carnivore diet. I don't know why that is, but They're the kind of person that experiments with diet and is willing to do extreme dietary things. So, not extreme, I don't, the fruitarian diet isn't extreme in my perspective, but it is from the perspective of a beginner or whatever. So, this person's posting butter as a health food. Not even mainstream science would say butter is a health food. Not even people that make butter would claim it was a health food. No chef would say it was a health food. There is no one that says butter is a health food other than some people who are in the business of selling information products, books, and courses and stuff to an audience of people that might believe that. And that's all that is. There's an industry there of people that want to hear that message, will happily read a book about it, will happily take a course, do different stuff, maybe get coaching and all that stuff. So there's an industry of people who share that information, carnivore diet, Atkins diet, all that stuff. Because people like this idea. It's based on the whole idea, is based on the idea of everything you've been told about diet is wrong. All the stuff that people tell you saying that butter is unhealthy and steak is unhealthy and fat is unhealthy, that's all wrong. Now, you've got to really, really realize this. And this is what people who are jumping off a vegan diet or raw vegan diet don't get. They have no evidence for that whatsoever. You have to realize that. Go and have a look for it. Go and look at what the people that are claiming, for example, butter is healthy, red meat is healthy. Go and look at the information they're claiming as evidence. Go and look at the evidence. Go and look at the people that are putting it across. Sometimes just go and look at the scientists that are supposedly, claiming these things. The evidence isn't there. People will buy the book, but the evidence is not there. And you'll say there's evidence. And the funny thing is, these carnivore, paleo, that like the names have changed over the years, keto for a while. These people, when they talk about the diet, it's so complex. I don't know if you ever noticed that. They're talking about red meat and they're like, well, yeah, there's some hydrolines and some kinesabolines and there's these. I'm just making these terms up, but there's some potassialamides and pigidobacterides. They just are making up all these weird terms no one's ever heard of before, claiming like, yeah, this can interact with the neurotransmitter that can improve the neurotransmitting function of the thing. Like, they're just making up random stuff. There's a study from Eastern, Tajikistan University of Meat saying that red meat is not as bad as we thought when it comes to something or other. And it's like, okay, this is what you're basing it on, the whole thing. Because the world of nutrition science and the meat industry have been trying for years to prove that meat's healthy. They're desperate to find some way of making it healthy, and they can't. They can't figure out how to make it healthy. It just isn't a healthy food. It's not a health food, and butter is certainly not a health food. It's way too high in saturated fat. One of the main things we know, and there's probably a number of different reasons why butter isn't good for you, but one of the main things that we know about butter, about saturated fat, is one of the main things we know about our health and nutrition. One of the main things we know is that saturated fat is a cause of heart disease. High amount of saturated fat in the diet causes heart disease. It's one of the main things that we can say as close to for sure as possible. This is something that goes back a long time. And you might think, well, how come we've not got rid of heart disease? Because we've kind of brought down saturated fat in the diet. And maybe we have a bit, but not anywhere near enough. for it to have an impact. So people are still eating far too much fat. Butter is a big part of that. And, butter is for sure connected with disease. And before you develop disease, you have all sorts of symptoms coming up to that, and just generally dulled health and a dulled energy, a dulled life, and all that stuff. So I don't know. Butter is like a solid lump of saturated fat, and it's definitely connected with disease. And you can put someone on a diet, take butter out of the diet, and you will show health benefits very quickly. Put loads of butter into someone's diet, you will show detriments to their health very quickly. It's not that difficult to find. The research on that, we can do cruel experiments on primates, and we can prove that by forcing them to eat butter and stuff. We can show the negative impacts. But let's say you force feed them blueberries, like ridiculous quantities of blueberries for a couple of weeks. No negative effects on their health. Ridiculous quantities of butter, negative effects very quickly on their health. It's so simple and easy to show. And we're failing in this whole movement because everyone's going, but how do you get your omega-3? And how do you get your protein? And how do you get your... what's the phrase? What are the things that people go on about? Selenium and your minerals and your blah. How do you get all that stuff? You get it out of fruits and vegetables. That's it. And you get it, and there's enough in fruit, by the way. Yes, there's enough minerals in fruit. There's enough minerals in bananas for you to live on for the rest of the freaking life. You're never going to have a mineral problem. You would have to make some severe mistake to get a mineral problem. That's my claim. I can't back that up with too much evidence, but I totally believe it from my experience. And just from the fact that, how would it not be the case? There's no mineral problems occurring in this diet. There's no mineral issues. So everyone wants to go on about minerals. So butter, a terrible food, a delicious food, to be fair. But this is the thing, like, it's not to say that butter doesn't make things taste good and doesn't in itself taste good. You put butter on bread or something like that, it tastes good. It does taste good. Why does it taste good? Firstly, it's got salt added to it, so that's the first thing. You take the salt out, it doesn't taste that good. Take the salt out, it's kind of a big lump of nothing. People say, I don't add salt. Do you put it on bread? Yeah, that's the salt. I don't add salt to butter. You do. Have saltless bread with butter. Now, you're not going to probably be able to buy saltless bread. Make it. Make your own bread, don't put salt in. Firstly, you're going to struggle to eat the bread. This is a good test of if a food is like, a natural human food or whatever. If you can eat it without salt. Because a lot of these foods people can't really eat without salt. I would say that probably animal milks people would, to some degree, enjoy without salt. Milk. I still think you have to kind of condition yourself to drink cow's milk. It's not that good a flavour. But butter without salt is not that great. With salt, a lot of things, salt and fat, for whatever reason, salt and fat is an explosion of flavour. Can't deny it. But you can get salt and fat from, avocados and salt if you want, or cashews and salt. I prefer to stay away from fat, basically, mostly. When I say fat, I mean foods that are high in fat. There is plenty of fat in fruits and vegetables. There's plenty of fat in bananas. There's plenty of fat in grapes. There's plenty of fat in lettuce. You don't need to go out looking for some high source of fat. It's an absolute fallacy that you would have to do that. That doesn't stop this raw vegan movement. Instead of the message that I'm putting across, much better message, much stronger message, much more confident message. The teachers in the raw vegan movement, well, you got to, well, the mistake that I made is I had too much fruit and I realized I had to eat more greens. And then I added in cruciferous vegetables and then everything was better. It's like, no. I had to add in more fats. So then when I added in my healthy fats and my flaxseed, and then everything was just perfectly balanced. And then I found my cognitive function came back. Great. We're teaching people that you can destroy your cognitive function on a raw vegan diet. What a terrible, terrible way to teach this. And that's why people are leaving events, leaving YouTube videos, leaving courses, and going, I don't think this is really worth it. Like, you do it wrong, you destroy your health, you destroy your brain function, you destroy your brain, your spinal column, B12 problems. You'll destroy all your bones with mineral issues. So now I'm just gonna go back to eating junk food. I'll go and listen to the guy saying butter is a health food. But you know, I think about this more. I think, well, is it really that we're not given the right information, the right education? Because the truth is, probably do, but it's still a personal journey, and people can either go and watch those lectures or not. And a lot of people like to present themselves as being way smarter and more, yeah, I kind of know all this stuff, you know. And you kind of go along with it like, oh yeah, I guess you do. You don't need to hear this stuff. You've heard this before, of course, you know. You don't need to hear me telling you this. No, they do. They absolutely do. And even experienced raw vegans need to hear it more and don't know some of this stuff. And even the teachers don't know some of this stuff. That's why they're saying things like, oh, you need to watch with your omega-3s and your minerals, and you got to watch about all these things. So, bananas, weirdness. So, what can I say? Butter is not a health food. And I think that as we go forward with this message and talking to people, we can't be going around saying, yeah, if you don't get this diet perfect, you're going to totally mess up your health. Like, that's a really bad message. And literally, people are going to kill themselves. And there'll be people that went to the UK Fruit Fest that, and I know there's people that went to Woodstock that were exposed to that information, never took it on board, never fully changed, and ended up their health going downhill or disease or dead. I mean, look at Nick Ocado avocado for that guy. What the hell, man? It's like 250 pounds overweight. Every time, once in a while, someone shares a picture or I see something, I'm like, man, that guy's put on another 50 to 100 pounds in weight. Like, he was there at Woodstock. He was one of the guys that, like, Nick doesn't need to learn this stuff. He's got it. He's a fruitarian for life. Like, look at that guy. This is what Nick was. This is what people don't understand. Like, Nick Ocado was making some of the best videos about a fruitarian diet. Probably not on his channel anymore. He made amazing videos. It's like, Nick's got it. He's hanging out with Ann Osborne. They know everything. They know it all. They don't need to go to the lectures. You don't expect to see him debating, asking questions. He doesn't need to do that stuff. He knows it. No, he doesn't. Fruitarian for 2 or 3 years, whatever he was. 100%. They don't know it. They're doing it for like the community. They're not doing it for themselves. There's something missing. And there's many people that have died. That have become disease. And maybe you're like, who cares? That's life. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe you should be just like that. Who cares? Maybe I should stop. Maybe I should just focus on selling tickets to the festival, not really bothering about the effect on people. Maybe that's all I should do. I probably should. I need to stop thinking about how do we actually help the people to get this and get that moment where it's like, I got it. People leave and they're like, yeah, I've got this, I'm going to do it. And you just know they're not going to do it. You just know it. Sometimes you just think they're not going to do it. So keep on trying. But the message is just, it's not helping people go raw. It's not helping people, especially going raw. Like people aren't, I guess people are going raw as much as they ever did, and more than probably ever did. But there's something missing where people are not going raw. Like more people need to do that full 100%. And I guess that's our mistake. Whatever, we need to keep on. I just think the message, when people are exposed to that information and leave and go back and say butter's healthy, you're like, how have they seen that? How have they seen the same presentation as me and go back and make that conclusion? Craziness. And then you also realize, eating disorders. Because that's sometimes what it is as well. They were at the festival because they've got eating disorder stuff. That's how they came into raw veganism. Eating disorder stuff, whatever. Want to be skinny stuff, things like that. It should be an alignment of health, the beauty of life, the beauty of health, energy, like the highest, most wonderful virtues of life, not eating disorders, like demon stuff. That's like the low, dark energy stuff. And we get that in the raw vegan world. We've got the people that are at the low demonic energy shit stuff, eating disorder levels, stuff like there's just a bit of a demon in them. That's a nasty thing to say, but I sort of mean it. Like there's a demonic, weird energy about it, and there's a lot of lying in it. There's a lot of misrepresentation in it. There's a lot of falseness in it with eating disorder stuff. It's really bad, and we attract that, and you can't really help people in those situations. If you're not in a place of honesty, we can't reach out with the most beautiful truth in the world and touch a person that's in a falsehood. It's just not possible, I think. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching. Butter is not a health food. If your goal in life is to have delicious food with people and go along with everyone else and all that, then butter's, I can understand why you have butter in that context. But if you're in alignment with health and you want to improve your health and health is an important thing to you, butter is not a good choice. It's a bad choice. Okay? Is that simple? You will get heart disease. You will develop all the problems that lead up to heart disease that happened before. You'll increase your chance of cancer. You'll increase your chance of other diseases, autoimmune diseases, digestive problems, and over. So don't go down the road of misery. Go down the road of life, which is health, healthy life, good life. So wishing you the good life. See you all soon, and stay fruity. Friday nights, Fruity Fridays. Why not come along sometime? Fruitfest.co.uk/Fruity Friday or Fruity Fridays. Find more information there. Thank you for joining me in this video. Subscribe, hit the like button, all that stuff. Thank you.